Hello and welcome. My name is Shasta Roberts, and welcome to another week of my book club where we read my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. So let's start off another week. This week we are reading the chapter of excuse number 10. He is supportive. All right, let's go. Finding a partner who supports you can be hard. I wouldn't completely say my husband is always on the same page that I am all the time, but when he is, it's usually the most important times. We see a lot of things differently, especially when it comes to politics, but we agree on how we parent our children and many other important times. His support usually comes in the form of an approval contingent on conditions. He says, I'm supportive if ... If you find a babysitter, if he didn't have anything planned, if we have money, and so on. I don't remember a time there wasn't an if involved. I am just used to it now. I know it is coming, so I just plan to follow the if up with the backup information. I know I am lucky when it comes to my husband backing me on sometimes my crazy ideas. I have friends who are not allowed to hire a babysitter and their husbands straight up refuse to watch the kids. I know people who get a strict budget because they don't work. But the working person gets to spend money on themselves all the time without question. It's honestly nice to be supported in my decisions and in life. It's somewhat easier since I have a shared meaning. It's somewhat easier since we have a shared meaning for the future. Our dreams may look a little bit different, but at the end of the day, when you narrow them down, they are the same. We both want to be comfortably financially, have residual income coming in now and for retirement. We both want to travel and see the world, and we both deep down want to be good people to not only our kids, but to everyone. Most of the time, I'm not asking for anything extremely crazy or out of reach. One of the biggest things I have asked for was to move to Washington. He was not at first supportive of that. The deal was if I could find a new job and made over a certain amount hourly, then we could move. The money coming in would need to be a substantial change that could change our life and make the move worth it. At that point, we had 2 kids, and he worked only half the year doing landscape. The other half of the year, he was on unemployment. I had to go from full-time to part-time work because we couldn't afford daycare at full-time for 2 kids. We have help in Washington where we didn't have the same help in Idaho. Sure, we had help there, here and there. But since we have lived in Washington, my mom has helped watch our kids, allowing us both to work full-time. We also have help from my siblings as well. Out of the 3 of my siblings, we all have 3 kids, and we all take turns helping out babysitting the kids. So, I accepted the challenge to find an adequate job to substantiate the move. It did not take me long since I had a certain skill set that made it easier to find work. I had been a property manager at apartment complexes for about 5 years. In those 5 years, I was able to obtain certificates for subsidized housing and had worked in USDA and tax credit housing with a knowledge of HUD housing. This is a hard skill set to find in an applicant. Most of the time, it is something that is trained on the job. So when I had this know-how, I was able to be a top running applicant and was offered a job at both the second and third company I interviewed with. I took the third company's offer since it was in my hometown. We moved a couple weeks later. I didn't feel bad about asking to move because he had asked me to move to Idaho with him from Oregon, and I did. This time, it was me asking, and it didn't seem that out of the ordinary. I thought I was supported in my decision since we quickly learned how fortunate we were in our move. Our finances changed overnight from barely making it by to financially succeeding in life. It is only later I would find out the move was something he resented me for years to come. After the move, I didn't ask for anything big. I planted my feet firmly on the ground and focused on being a good mom and getting us out of debt. Each tax return, he supported me with what bills I wanted to pay off with it. Each time I suggested a family vacation, he supported me where I chose for us to go. Over and over, he supported my decisions. Not all decisions were mine, though. He chose the house we bought. The boat was definitely him. If I was going to pick a boat, it wouldn't be a bass fishing boat. The cars have probably been 50-50, depending on what we needed and what was available in our price range. Neither of us have ever been able to buy our dream car and have settled for something nice in our price range. I am alone with the kids for 3 weekends a month during fishing season. Every June, July, August, and September, he is only home 1 weekend, and the other weekends he is gone fishing. My kids are so well behaved, I don't have a problem when they are with me all the time. I actually get sad when I'm away from them. But at the same time, there are times like clothes shopping that would be easier without 3 kids. As each year passed, I longed more and more for a little alone time, like he had so much of. I just wanted some time to do something for myself. For many years, the one thing he was not supportive of was for me, although he had plenty of time to himself. His excuse would be I teach Zumba every week, so I get my time during Zumba. However, Zumba is my part-time job. Although I love it so much, it's not the same as me getting a spa day, shopping day, or dinner out with friends. It took most of our marriage and lots of arguments, but he finally made it past that, and now he is supportive of me scheduling a day to myself. I do take care of the finances, so if I want something, I just make it happen. I find a way to add it to the budget, and I get it. This is why our house remodel has been possible. I cannot live in an unorganized, half-project done, outdated house. I made sure we have it in the budget to work on the house monthly. I would use our tax money to get all the big construction done, while I did all the small things all year long. Whether it is inside the house or out in the yard, I do not let knowing how to do something stop me. Our marriage was not happy or perfect before we bought our house, but the house started the real demise of our marriage. It was the subject we fought about the most. Before we bought the house, I made a deal with him I would only agree to this house if it was fixed up in the next couple of years. It was so gross, you didn't want to touch the walls, and the kitchen was in an enclosed room. It made it depressing to have to cook. I needed an updated, bright, cheery house as a place to come home to. A home is where you come to relax and renew, but instead, I came home to stress and anxiety. To me, this was his big compromise he asked from me. Yet, I grew up in a small house where my parents worked on projects that remained half completed, and I refused to live like that in my own home. He promised he would help get the house done. Our house is on a dead-end street with 9 houses on it. Although the inside was horrible, the outside had a big yard and 2 RV parking spaces. And one of them was paved, one with rock. The potential was abundance. It just happened to be the biggest house we looked at that we could afford. And I let him talk me into it because of the potential it could give our family. After receiving little to no help remodeling, I just started to learn how to remodel everything on my own. He has never once painted a single wall in our 1,800 square foot house. We only have 1 room left. I've done all the walls. I took down the popcorn ceiling, replaced all the outlets and lights, remodeled the kitchen, and did a makeover on the yard largely by myself. Of course, I need help on occasion. I'm not extremely strong compared to a guy, but I am very strong for a girl, but I'm also short. I use most power tools except for the table saw or wet saw. Both scare me. Anytime I needed help, it would require begging and pleading. Sometimes I would just start the project, make a mess in the house, and then he was forced to help finish it with me. For example, we took out 2 walls that cut the kitchen off from the rest of the house. We agreed on a date and weekend to start it. I am home from work before him, so the kids and I got changed and started hammering out drywall before he got home. When he came home, he said he was hoping I forgot about it because he didn't really want to do it. He wants the end result and will say he will help, but then tries to back out at every step he can. When he does work on the house, he can get things busted out much quicker than I can. He is double my weight and 10 inches taller than me. That helps a little, I think. He is also a really good worker and good at construction. He is so meticulous, I never have to worry about him half-assing a project. When he puts in effort, the result is always amazing. Hence, why I always want him to help. He sees things in a more structural, sound way. I see it more in a design way. If we learned how to communicate with each other, we would make a great team. But our communication has gotten worse over the years, where we usually cannot find a common ground. Although I am a middle child, I don't act like the middle child. None of my friends think that I'm younger than my sister. They all think I'm her senior. They think that because I'm the one that takes charge. I plan things and make decisions. Most people I know this about me. I like to plan things out way ahead of time, so all the details are decided and everyone knows what is going on. This converts the same thing to my marriage. Most of the time, I don't live on a whim. Yes, it is fun to be spontaneous, but at the same time, I have kids and animals, and we need to plan out. We also have a house that needs work, which means we have our weekend planned out before it even gets here. Digging deeper, I've realized I feel like I'm supported because I receive acknowledgement for my plans and ideas. I feel like I have support because I get to make most of the small decisions in our life. Come to find out, that is not what support is. Supporting someone is helping bear the weight or giving assistance to them. I don't think yielding to my wants and needs is support. I like to plan and take charge of life. I need someone by my side who wants to make some type of plans for life, not only on the daily routines, but on the grand scale. I'm not sitting here idle my whole life. I want to live, and not just a little, but fully, which takes a plan. I need someone who actually supports me, someone who is willing to bear some of the weight of our life together, someone who won't just concede to my every whim, but someone who is going to challenge me and help me grow. Having all the freedom I want makes it seem like we are not a team. Even though I can make the life I want someone to take the lead once in a while too. Someone who not only wants to dream with me, but wants to work to see those dreams come to fruition. I am talking about someone who knows your flaws and supports you getting beyond them. If you're not good at budgeting, they help in that area. Maybe you're not a good planner and they help you plan something. Maybe you're not a good craftsman, so they help you build what you are envisioning. It seems what I was thinking was support was just me getting my way. I'm not a child. I do not want to get my way all the time. Support might look different for everyone, but the support I have been clinging to is not everlasting. It has created a divide between us instead of bringing us together. A partner should be able to make you a better person in some way or another. You can be great without them, but you can be magnificent with them. True support is being able to take someone by the hand and show them they are not alone. Alrighty, that is another week and another chapter of my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so every week you get a notification when I post a new chapter every single week. Make sure you also hit the thumbs up and post a comment down below so I know what you think of the chapter. And I will see you guys next week for another chapter of Stronger Than Your Excuses by myself, Shasta Roberts. See you guys next week.